Go far, and it is gone.
Holy cow.
Zane Harris crushed that one.
A long drive towards right center field, and it's gone in the trees.
Hit from Braithwaite. Swung on and missed, and the ball game is over. The Harbor Hawks have defeated the Cotuit Kettleers.
That one is a good long drive towards left field, and gone!
That ball well to right field. It is
Adios,
high,
amigo.
It is far, and it is gone.
Holy cow.
Zane Harris crushed that one.
A long drive towards right center field, and it's gone in the trees.
Hit from Braithwaite. Swung on and missed, and the ball game is over. The Harbor Hawks have defeated the Cotuit Kettleers.
That one is a good long drive towards left field, and gone!
The Harbor Hawks Baseball Network coming to you from Judy Walton Scarefile Field, Lincoln Revill, alongside my good friend Austin DeCouta. And Austin, after a deluge, to say the least, last night, baseball is back in Hyannis for a rematch against the Wareham Gateman.
Well, let's see if we can get a full game in tonight, because the last two for Hyannis we've had end a little bit early, obviously back on Wednesday. The Brewster game was canceled due to the lights and not having lights at that field. in the 8th inning, I believe. That one went short. And then last time we were home on Thursday, the fog ended up ruining our plans. And then yesterday's game, the rain, canceled that one against Bourne. So let's see if we can play a full 9 today.
Yeah, we've had some trouble the past few games, but on the mound tonight, we're just a few moments away from first pitch. But on the mound for the Harborhawks, Adrian Saravo coming in for another start. Austin, what are we looking for from Saravo tonight?
Yeah, he's been impressive all season long. He's made a couple of starts along the way. He's starting to build up his pitch count, so I expect a few innings from tonight. I'm looking at 5 innings as the goal. We'll see if Gary Calhoun lets him go that long. We've seen guys work into the 4th. Hunter Dula has the longest outing to this point at 4 innings. So we'll see if Saravo can go into the 4th, get 5 complete would be nice. But for Saravo, he's a good pitch mix with the fastball, slider, changeup, and splitter. So we'll see how effective he can use that fastball slider, because I think that's important to keep these Wareham Gatemen off balance.
We're just a few moments from first pitch. We're going to take a break, but we'll be right back on the Harborhawks Baseball Network. On the mound, but we're going to get into the starting lineup for the Wareham Gatemen. We'll get to the starting lineup for the Harborhawks here in the next half inning. But Austin, who is in the lineup for the Gatemen tonight?
It's going to be Tommy Troy leading off at second base, and the 2-hole is Jim Jarvis, the shortstop. Batting third is Yohandi Morales, the third baseman. Batting 4 is Owen Diodati, the left fielder. Coming into the game, Diodati has 4 home runs on the season, which leads the Gatemen. He's been one of their top run producers as well, with 13 runs batted in, also good for the team lead. And the 5-hole is Kellum Clark, the first baseman. Batting 6, Cade Kern, the right fielder. Batting 7, Jimmy Crooks, the DH. Batting 8, Anthony Fracchetti, the catcher. And batting 9, Trace Gonzalez, the center fielder, with Nick Clayton on the mound.
Nick Clayton getting his first look against the Harborhawks this season, as Adrian Saravo from Weatherford College digs in, getting warmed up here for the start of tonight's game. Saravo at 6'4", 248 pounds, with a 2.70 ERA out of 2 appearances this season. He has 2 starts, 6.2 innings pitched total. He's given up 6 hits, 2 runs on those 6 hits. Has 4 walks, and he has 6 strikeouts compared to those 4 walks. Now behind the plate for his first start of the season is actually going to be Ryan Proto behind the plate. We've seen him in a couple of appearances so far for the Harbor Hawks. He just actually got his first game appearance just a few days ago, actually, as he's been in the bullpen catching the bullpen pitchers for most of the season up to date. We're just about ready to go and that fouls off, brings the count to 0-1, and we're underway. Troy with an 0-1 count.
That's a great pitch there by Saravo. He wanted to come inside, high and in on the leadoff man, and Troy happened to square around, too. A good location to jam a guy early, and it said 94 on the radar gun, too. One of the hardest pitches we've seen for Saravo on the year.
That 0-1 swing, and he fouls it off of himself. Count now at 0-2, going around the horn for the Harbor Hawks here. Once again, Adrian Saravo on the mound. Proto behind the dish with Luke Mann over at third, Kyle Ball at short, Ryan Romano over at second base, and Marcos Pujols will be the main glove over at first. Meanwhile, going from left to right in the outfield, Mitch Hardigan out in left, Rose out there in center field, Caden Rose in center, and Dom Johnson will be out and right for the Harbor Hawks here tonight. Count now at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pitch from Saravo is fouled off. That heads behind the press box, out of play.
Get it enough on the plate there. He started it inside on Troy, just did not come all the way across the plate.
It was a good idea, good place, just missed by a couple inches. He's in the windup, the 2-2. Another breaking ball, pops straight up. That should be playable for Ball over at short, and he makes the grab for out number 1.
Kyle Ball, the short-handed shortstop without an error on the season. It's been terrific all season long at short.
Kyle Ball, the shortstop, as we mentioned. Later on, after this inning concludes, we're actually going to take a look at an interview our sideline reporter Taylor Farmer got with Ball just prior to today's game, so be sure to stick around for that. First pitch from Saravo to Jim Jarvis is a called strike, bringing the count to 0-1, 93 miles an hour on the pitch. Jarvis over at short for the Gateman here tonight.
Yeah, Saravo faced the same Gateman team back on July 2nd in Wareham. It did not have a bad outing at all, giving up just 1 run across 3 1/3 innings pitched.
As we know, the Harbor Hawks ended up taking a loss in Wareham during that game. A very damp, very cold game in Wareham as the 1-1 finds his own 4-strike 2. 1-2 now the count.
Saravo on the season, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts. And at 2.070 ERA, he's one of the best on the team as he's been a pillar of consistency in the rotation.
Here's the 1-2. He tried to check his swing, but definitely did not, as that is strike 3. Jarvis goes down with a half swing for strikeout number 1 on the day for Saravo, and there are 2 out away here in the first.
Terrific pitch, and that's the key, is getting that fastball in. Left-handed hitters can be tough against right-handed pitching, and for Saravo, a guy with the fastball, slider, change-up, splitter mix, it's important to get that fastball in on the hands.
First pitch to Morales, misses down low. Count goes to 1-0 now. Yohandy Morales over at third in tonight's game as that one misses low. 2 balls and no strikes now the count. Morales from the University of Miami, batting .250 on the season. Currently at 4 for 16. Here's the 2-0. He fouls that one off. 2-1 now.
A little bit of a chilly night here at McKeon Park. I wonder if that will play a factor at all in the ballgame as the temperature continues to drop.
Yeah, it started out as a relatively warm, well, I guess it is still the week, you know. It's just at the last day of the week as this one hit back up the middle. Saravo's going to pick that one up, toss it over himself for out number 3, ending the top of the first. The Gatemen go down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left as we head to the bottom of the first, scoreless on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Top of 2 coming up here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Next 3 up for the Gateman coming up. Owen Diodati going to start us off, followed by Kellum Clark and Cade Kern, the 4, 5, and 6 hole hitters. Next up for the Gateman. The Gateman, I wouldn't say that's a maroon jersey that they have, but it's a very nice looking uniform. The gray pants, a dark red shirt, almost like a crimson, I guess, almost.
Would you call that cranberry or not quite? Yeah, crimson, probably closer to crimson, yeah.
Cranberry, I actually like that description, actually. Cranberry might be a really good description for that. But yeah.
Very similar to the Alabama colors.
Yeah, probably. So the crimson.
Crimson would be.
Yeah. So crimson jerseys with the black lettering. As that one comes in, that one misses just a tad outside. 1-1 the count. Diodati from the University of Alabama, of course. The Crimson Tide. 288 average on the season. As that one misses for ball 2.
Yeah, those 4 home runs and 13 RBI by Diodati, both good for the Gateman team lead. So he's definitely got some pop in the cleanup spot.
Diodati in his last appearance against the Harbor Hawks ended 0 for 4. Pair of Ks and a pair of flyouts as well. Both flyouts going out to center field where Rose was also for that game. Count even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Adrian Saravo back on the mound as he's in the windup. The pitch. Foul down the first base line. We'll stay at 2-2. Saravo off to a great start out of the gates. Retired the first 3 he faced in the first. And a 2-2 count to Diodati right now. Diodati back in the left-handed box. Little waggle on his bat. Here's the 2-2. That one misses low and away for ball 3. Fastball once again 93 miles an hour from Saravo. And Austin, we were talking in between the halves of the first inning, actually, as we mentioned that Saravo up quite a bit, actually, on his pitch speeds as opposed to his previous starts. This one lined in between first and second for a base hit, and that is Diodati finding first for the first base hit of the game.
Yeah, I think his first start here of the season, I think he was sitting about 90, maybe 91 on the fastball. And tonight he seems to be sitting 93 and going up to 94. So it seems like his arm has ramped up a bit. He's got good control, too. I mean, he does have the 4 walks and 6 2/3, but it just seems like he's around the strike zone a lot.
Now, as opposed to the beginning of the season as well, back in his first start, of course, he was still getting his arm warmed up and everything. So it seems like he's found a groove. His arm is finally sort of back in its usual form that it was during the regular season.
And I know at least one of the games he pitched in, the one in Wareham, was rain. Mm-hmm. And then the one that he pitched in earlier in the year, I believe the weather wasn't spectacular either. It was an overcast kind of day.
Yeah. Overcast day here.
Another not great weather day.
Yeah. Someone mentioned this actually the other day. I think we've only had 2 or 3 games in Hyannis where it was a sunny sky and a clear sky. Just a couple. Most of the time it's either rainy or it's just overcast.
This is what you would expect the weather to be like in May in Massachusetts. Not really July. It's a little unusual this week.
Well, yeah, the Hurricane Elsa, or I guess Tropical Storm Elsa now, just came through here yesterday, canceled our game against the Bourne Braves yesterday. Count now at 0-2 to Kellum Clark. Saravo from the stretch, the right-hander. Little trademark look, dreads hanging down about shoulder length. Here's the 0-2. It's a high drive out towards left field. That's Johnson ranging back, nearing the wall. At the warning track, he leaps and makes the catch! Dom Johnson showing off the leather as he robs Kellum Clark of a 2-run home run for out number 1.
Man, that's got to be one of the best plays we've seen all season, if not the best defensive play we've seen all season. The vert jumping up above the wall. That wall is probably 6 feet tall out there around the outfield, 6 or 7, and Dom Johnson just took the home run back, and that's huge. What a huge play.
That was spectacular play from Johnson out there. We've seen a couple of good plays from him, but that one takes the cake so far. So with one away, a runner on first, Cade Kern now stepping up to the plate. Kern sporting his red helmet. Runner goes over from first. Proto with the throw down. Throw gets there late as Owen Diodati steals second for the first time tonight, his first stolen base of the night.
Good job by Proto to keep it in front of him, but unfortunately it just got too far to the left where he couldn't keep it that close to him. So Diodati has good speed, able to get into scoring position. Baseman Morales on that left side of the infield and put the second baseman in shallow right with the shortstop behind the second base bag. We're probably going to see it to Mason Greer, who's on deck.
I think the Gatemen are the only team that we've seen so far that actually put in a shift.
I believe so. I don't remember seeing it. I mean, it's hard to know which guys are pull hitters just yet. It's still early in the season, but
true, yeah.
A lot of teams will just shift any left-handed hitter automatically, especially if they think a guy doesn't. So he's sitting 90 is Clayton, which isn't the fastest we've seen. If they think a guy's going to be able to time up the fastball, they might shift. Rather than if he's throwing 97, you might not shift because guys might tend to be late from that left-handed side and hit it to the left side of the infield.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan Proto now at the plate. Proto activated just a few days ago on July 7th. Watches that one go by. That misses up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 away. Proto behind the plate, his first start for the Harbor Hawks. We've seen him a couple of times as a substitute.
And the local kid from Centerville, Mass, from UMass Lowell.
Proto sitting at 0 for 2 on the season. He's only had 2 at-bats. He's been fanned once to count it 2-2. Clayton comes home. Another foul ball. Keeps the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. The crowd starting to fill out just a little bit here from Judy Walden Scarafile Field. Not as big as we've seen for most games prior to tonight, but still a pretty good-sized crowd.
I think a lot of the Gateman fans probably caught in traffic back at the bridge.
As the 2-2 called strike on the outside corner, Proto goes down looking for strikeout number 2 for Clayton and out number 2 here in the second as Mason Greer, the DH, now gets up to the plate for his first appearance.
They are going to not shift here on Greer. Well, the second baseman's moved a little bit further over, and he's in shallow right, but they're going to keep the shortstop where he normally would play. So I guess the advanced analytics or stats say that Mason Greer is not as much of a pull hitter as Luke Mann. I do know Wareham sends scouts to batting practice to watch their teams. So I wonder if that's some of the information they've gathered.
Yeah, we've seen some of the scouts for the Gatemen at some of our games. They stick around for some of the actual game, but we have seen them a lot at batting practice. Greer, I think this might be the first time we've seen Greer in the DH spot. Usually he's over at first or third. But tonight, not in the field, but he is in the starting lineup. Count now goes to 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 away. Greer had his last start in the field actually against Orleans the other night, where he started at first base. In that game, went 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. He reached on a walk and ended up being one of the 6 runs for the Harbor Hawks in that 11-6 loss to the Orleans Firebirds in just 6 innings of play. Here's the 3-1. He pops that one up near foul territory. That's going to be Frechette over by the batter's circle to make the grab for out number 3. 6 straight retired for the Gatemen as we now head to the third with the Gatemen leading 1-0 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Trey's Gonzalez ready to start us off here in the top of the third. Tommy Troy up on deck, and Jim Jarvis will be in the hole here to start off in the third inning. Gonzalez out in center field for the Gateman here tonight. We saw Gonzalez the last time we played Wareham in Wareham, as Saravo brings home the first pitch, finding the outside corner for strike one.
Saravo's been good so far in this ballgame, all around the plate. One run has come across, but generally he's been good.
Pitch from Saravo misses for ball one, bringing the count even at 1-1 now. Gonzalez in that first game against the Gateman in Wareham, he ended 0 for 4. Had a ground out, a fly out, and a strikeout. He also reached on an error back in the first of that game. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count. Saravo from the windup brings home the pitch. That one misses. Actually called strike on the outside corner. Brings the count even at 2-2.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Didn't think that one was going to be called a strike, but hey, we'll get what we can get. 2 balls and 2 strikes now the count. The pitch. Hit over towards second, picked up by Romano. He's going to throw it over to first for out number 1. Gonzalez still looking for that first hit against the Harbor Hawks as he now goes to 0 for 1 on the night.
Ryan Romano's been solid at second base all season long, getting the start again tonight. It's a good defensive infield. Kyle Ball, no errors at short all season. You have the terrific glove of Luke Mann at third, and Marcos Pujols has done a nice job at first all season as well.
Yeah, very good infield for the Harbor Hawks overall, especially over at that second base spot. Romano and Ricciardi seem to be quite the duo out there at second base, as this one's lofted into shallow center field. That's going to be Rose settling under it for out number 2. As Tommy Troy now goes down to 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts, 1 to short and 1 out to center.
Good job by Saravo again. It's jamming the hitters on their hands so they can't get extended, making them pop up a lot, weak fly balls. Good start for Saravo.
Saravo showing himself to be one of the top arms in this Harbor Hawks rotation as he brings that first pitch home to Jim Jarvis. Strike called near the outside part of the plate. That brings the count to 0-1 now.
That was pitch number 39 from Saravo, so he's in good shape to go a couple more innings.
Looking for 5 innings of work out of him, as you mentioned during our pregame show.
That'd be the goal, I think. You know, based on other starts, for Hunter Dula went 4. Saravo worked into the 4th his last start, and he's been much more effective tonight. So I think 5 would be a good goal to go for.
1-1.
Wow.
Swing and a miss there from Jarvis. That breaking ball at 82 miles an hour. A nasty pitch there from Saravo.
So tough to the left-handed hitters there, because what you want to do is keep the ball away from him. Look how far he chokes up on the bat, though, with 2 strikes. Look at that.
Almost up on the barrel as that one's lofted into shallow center field. Rose coming in and making the grab for out number 3. As that ends the top of the third, the Gatemen go down in order as we head now to the bottom half of the third inning. But before we go to break, we're actually going to toss it down to our sideline reporter Taylor, who caught up with Kyle Ball just before today's game.
Kyle, you were an all-star in the New England Collegiate Summer League 2 years ago. How have you translated your individual success to the Cape League?
Oh, man, I mean, I don't really know how to answer that question correctly, but, I mean, I just go out there every day and try to do the best that I can, and, you know, I think about what's gotten me here, and I just try to help the team win any way I can. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's really just that. It's, you know, you build off failures and successes, and I kind of just take it day by day like that. So.
Now, you played under Coach Calhoun in that league. How much do you enjoy playing under him? Yeah,
I mean, I love playing for Coach Calhoun. Real laid-back environment, but at the same time, you know, he wants us to go out there, compete as best that we can. But I really like that he doesn't get on us. You know, if we're struggling, he's always there to motivate us and you know, help us get out of funks and stuff. So that's one thing that I like about him a lot.
And do you have a goal for yourself that you're working on heading into the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to get into a rhythm. I mean, this is definitely a tough league, and the expectations weren't. I didn't really want to have the highest expectations because you're in this tough league and you have ups and downs. So I just really want to get on a rhythm for the second half and just do the best that I can to help the team win any way I can. So.
Right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Here at McKeon Park, alongside Kyle Ball, I'm Taylor Farmer, Harbor Hawks.
Thank you so much, Taylor. A great job as always. We'll reach back with her a couple of times throughout the game as we're just about ready to get underway here in the bottom half of the third inning. Dom Johnson starting us off. Mitch Hardigan behind him, and Ryan Romano will be in the hole. 7-8-9 coming up here for the Harbor Hawks as we trail the Gateman 1-0. Clayton's still on the mound for the Gateman.
Would have been 2-0, but Dom Johnson, who's coming up, robbed that home run.
Yeah, that would have been a 2-run shot back in the first inning of play.
Ooh. Well,
as that very first pitch hits Johnson, did that hit him on the head?
Yep,
I think.
did.
Yeah, I thought I heard a little bit of plastic. So Johnson getting his head in the game early here. So now he reaches base after getting hit with that very first pitch from Clayton in this inning.
Yeah, Lincoln, no intent behind that one. I think it just slipped out of the hand. Didn't look like
Yeah.
It might have been a fastball, but wasn't thrown as hard as we've seen. Looks like it just slipped a little bit, but Johnson's okay, and everyone's good to go for the next at-bat.
I think everybody's entitled to one crazy pitch, whether it hits the batter or not,
It happens.
Yeah. Happens every once in a while. Now the first pitch coming into Mitch Hardigan. He fouls that one off. That tips the glove of Frechette, but he can't come up with it. 0-1 the count.
Johnson's got good speed at first, 2 for 2 on stolen bases this season.
Hardigan also with a pretty good bat so far this season as Johnson ends up going to second on that pass ball from Frechette. He extends to second, rounds second base, but he won't extend any further. As the count moves to 1-1 to Hardigan.
He deked like he was going to steal. I don't know if he didn't get a good enough jump or was just trying to distract the catcher, but it worked either way. As that ball just goes kind of down to the right on Frechette, and Johnson's in scoring position now.
Now Hardigan from Florida Atlantic University out of Conference USA. Batting 182 on the season as he swings at that one. Can't connect. 1-2 now the count.
He's been putting together some good swings, though, in BP. See if that can translate to the game. He does fare pretty well against right-handed pitching.
We've seen some good hits from him so far this season. He's been able to get on base, drive in some runs. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Hardigan goes down swinging for strikeout number 3 for Clayton. As they're now 1 away with a runner on second for Ryan Romano. And if you can get Johnson home with a base hit, he's on second base, so he's in scoring position. Chance to tie the game here with a base hit. Would be very fortunate for the Harbor Hawks this early in the game.
He has good speed, so if you can put something, it doesn't have to necessarily be into the gap. If you can just get something to the outfield, maybe a little bit away from one of the outfielders, Johnson can score on that.
Clayton takes a turn over to second. No throw as Johnson's back in easily. Nobody to hold him on there. Ryan Romano, the second baseman, now at the dish. Blue Under Armour helmet on his head, sporting an all-black bat. As he watches that one go up high. Brings the count now to 1-0 with 1 away. Romano from Tampa, Florida, goes to Florida State. Batting 176 on the season so far. The 1-0, that's chopped over towards third, picked up by Morales. He's going to tag. He's going to go for the tag for Johnson. He's going to miss him, says the third base umpire. And meanwhile, Ryan Romano reaches first safely, so runners now in the corners with 1 away.
Well, a dangerous play there for Johnson to run to third on that one. The ball hit in front of you usually frees on that side of the infield, but he's able to evade the tag somehow.
Yeah, I'd say that's it's a risky play for both sides. Johnson going in the direction of a tag, and then Morales having to stretch out a little bit trying to make the tag, and he can't make it. And so now you go down without – you try for the harder tag and come up empty.
Yes, that they just ruled a hit, so Romano's on first now with that single. There is action in the Harbor Hawk bullpen, surprisingly.
Bunt shown, a little suicide squeeze. Johnson on the way home, slide is in time. Tried to get under the tag, but he couldn't do it. The flip from Clayton was in time. A perfectly placed flip there from him. And they're now 2 away as the Harbor Hawks still trail by a run.
I like that idea a lot. I really do. I like the idea of trying to bunt in a run there with 1 out. But the bunt, unfortunately, wasn't down either of the lines. It was just back to the pitcher, Clayton, which made it pretty easy to get Johnson coming home. But I do like that call a lot from manager Gary Calhoun. That's a smart play in this ballgame.
Yeah, that's one of the worst things is that whenever you try for a suicide squeeze, but you just bunt it straight to somebody and make it really a pretty easy play for that second out. So now runners on first and second, 2 away. That's Kyle Ball back at the plate now. Count now at 0-1 after that one's fouled off. Ball at 0 for 1, had a ground out over to third in the first inning. Once again, right now we have Romano on second, Rose over at first. Here's the 0-1. That one misses down low. 1 ball and 1 strike now the count with 2 away. Harbor Hawks looking to tie the game here. Base hit would do just that.
Kyle Ball had a 2 RBI double here on Thursday against the Firebirds.
Clayton from the stretch brings home the 1-1. That one misses high for ball 2. Ball, along with that double, and did 1 for 3 on the night completely with a strikeout, a ground out, and then that double. Of course, he would have had another appearance had the game continued. Of course, due to fog, we had to cancel that game after that 6th inning of play. The 2-1, swing and a miss there from Ball. Can't connect. That's going to even the count out. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away. And Austin, for the first time tonight, with a new hat. I have my home hat back. Yeah, it's been lost for a couple weeks, but I got it back. Time to do the shake here for the first time tonight. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away. Clayton comes set. The tiebreaker is chopped foul. We'll stay at 2-2. Now, for those of y'all that have kept up with the Harbor Hawks broadcast, y'all know what this hat shaking means. For those of y'all that don't, with 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs, for when your team is at the plate, as the Harbor Hawks are, the hat shake is kind of a good omen. I don't know, omen? Is that the word? Or would it be like, I don't know, it's just a good little superstition that I have. This one lined opposite field towards right field, and that's going to be caught by Kern. A fantastic play from him over in right field as the Harbor Hawks end up with nothing as they go down in the bottom half of the 3rd. That completes the 3rd inning. The Harbor Hawks trail 1-0 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Top half of the fourth coming up here from Judy Walden Scarifile Field. Once again, Lincoln Revill alongside my partner Austin DeCouta as we are ready for the fourth inning of action. Adrian Saravo is out of the game as that first pitch goes off the glove of now Hunter Furtado. He throws it from the mound a little bit low, but dug up there by Pujols over at first for out number 1. And a good introduction for Hunter Furtado as he's now on the rubber in place of Saravo.
Well, you can't ask for a better job right out of the gate by Furtado. 1 pitch, 1 out. He'll take it.
Testing his reflexes right off the bat as he was able to pick that one in his glove, but it ended up falling out at the last second. But with the 1 away, Owen Diodati steps back up to the plate. He swings at that one with a healthy hack, but he can't find the ball. 0-1 the count. Diodati 1 for 1 with a single back in the second. He's also the only run of the game as he came home later in that second inning. The 0-1 breaking ball from Furtado at 77 miles an hour. Misses down low for 1-1. Furtado from Wake Forest. As the Demon Deacon pitcher comes set, the left-hander with the fastball lifted straight up. That's going to be over towards the third base line. Man ranging over into foul territory, and he'll make the grab for out number 2. A high, towering fly ball from Diodati, but he goes down for the first time tonight.
A huge out there for Furtado. Comes out of the pen, 2 up, 2 down. Exactly how you would want to start the ball game.
Furtado picking up right where Saravo left off. Fantastic outing from Saravo, actually. He didn't go as far as we would have liked. He ended after 3 innings of pitching. Only gave up 1 run in that span. As that pitch from Furtado finds his own for strike 1 to Kellum Clark now.
Yeah, Clark hit that ball to the warning track in his first at-bat, the one that Dom Johnson robbed from being a home run. Comes from Mississippi State, so he's just enjoyed a national championship, the College World Series. Comes here to the Cape to try to continue that success.
Clark with an interesting look that we haven't seen this season. He's sporting his hoodie, his Gateman hoodie, underneath his jersey.
Looks like our producer Matt under his polo. It's a unique look.
Yeah. It's kind of the trademark look for Matt, though. He always has his hoodie underneath his polo there.
He wears the polo over anything.
Yeah, he does.
It's like a jersey, like a basketball penny.
I wonder, Matt. We can't hear you honestly, but have you ever worn a polo underneath the polo?
Or a polo? Have you ever just worn a polo?
I'll wear both of my polos.
You ever just wear a polo without any sweatshirt under it?
Yeah, just the polo in general.
That's a no.
Shook his head no on that one. I mean, I don't think I could ever wear a polo with nothing underneath. I always have an undershirt. The 0-2 spiked in the dirt from Furtado, bringing the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Clark currently at 0 for 1, as Austin mentioned, that long fly ball that turned into that amazing play from Dom Johnson out in right field. Or as I very excitedly and very sadly called it left field out in that second inning.
It happens.
It does. To me, more than most, more than it should, but, it is what it is, I guess. Furtado switching out the balls. That one must have been a little scuffed, or maybe a little spot of mud out there on the field from yesterday's deluge.
It's surprisingly dry, drier than I thought it would. It's still a little damp, but much better.
Strike 3 called. Kellum Clark goes down swinging, and the Gatemen go down in order as we head down to the bottom of the 4th. Harborhawks trailing 1-0 on the Harborhawks Baseball Network. Back here, bottom of the fourth, Marcos Pujols set to start us off here to begin this inning. But first, before we start, Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergrad programs, including new majors in sports and recreation management, graphic design, marketing, and computer science. All of that you can find online at www.curry.edu.
Terrific. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I stumbled there, something I don't usually do on those reads. Had a little bit of a stumble there, but, you know, decent nonetheless. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now to Pujols. Pujols, who, as we know, back in that first inning with a massive foul ball. We all thought it was fair. We all thought it was that solo home run that tied the game, but instead that first base umpire called it foul. Count now at 1-2. The pitch from Clayton. Lofted and fouled as that heads out of play towards the crowd. A couple of heads up scattered throughout the crowd there as the count stays at 1-2.
Yeah, you got to stay alert.
Yeah, exactly. Head on a swivel, people. Can't have any concussions out here tonight. Clayton from the windup, the right-hander with the 1-2. That one's fouled off as well, keeping the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Marcos Pujols Martinez, his full name. He only goes by Pujols, though. Originally from the Dominican Republic, currently attends the University of Dayton. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Pujols goes down swinging for the second time tonight to start off the 4th inning here as Luke Mann is now going to step up to the plate.
So now they shift on Luke Mann, but they didn't shift on Pujols. And I would argue that Pujols is just as much of a pull hitter as Mann may be.
Yeah, I think every hit that Pujols has gotten has gone to that right side of the field.
Except for one.
There was one.
Brewster, the line drive to left. But otherwise, yes, every other.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw his home run. Both home runs were to right field.
His man rips that one down the first base line, foul.
Both home runs were to right, and then the one that was almost a home run in this game was to right. So Pujols is just as much of a pull hitter, if not more, than Luke Mann. We haven't seen a ton of Mann.
No, I will say, even the biggest pull hitters every once in a while hit it opposite field.
Right,
so
yeah.
you always have that chance. It's always a risk.
That one was to left field. It was late on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally a guy will drop a bunt against the shift, which you could try to do here. I mean, it's still early in the ball game. I'd rather see Luke Mann take some swings, but
Now, interesting thing, there's a huge gap. All of shortstop, all of that whole area is open as Morales is staying in his usual spot at third.
which is weird because most times during the shift, the third baseman moves to the shortstop spot.
Yeah.
That third base line's empty, but here he has all the shortstop position all the way to the second base bag to put a ball through.
If he can hit that through that shortstop spot, he might be able to roll that one to the fence. Count evens, actually called strike 3. 1-2 is looked on, but Mann ends up going down looking. An interesting strike zone for the home plate umpire here tonight as there are 2 away now for Ryan Proto.
They checked his swing, and the home plate umpire said that Mann went around. He went out and pointed to where Mann's bat finished, he says. So, unfortunately for Mann, they didn't appeal the third, but they say he went around.
So 2 away. Proto fouls that one off. Good grab by manager Gary Calhoun down the third base line. As the count moves to 0-1. Proto also 0 for 1 on the night. He ended up going down looking back in the second. The box score as it looks now, the Wareham Gateman 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. The Harbor Hawks, on the other hand, with no runs on 1 hit and no errors. A good defensive game for both teams so far. A couple of highlight web gems, as you might call them, as the 1-1 misses down low. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count. A couple of those web gems include, as we mentioned earlier, Dom Johnson's home run robbery very early in the game, and then Kyle Ball with his little diving stop and flip over at the shortstop spot. Count now evens out, 2 balls, 2. Bottom half of the 5th coming up on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network as Mason Greer starts us off. Dom Johnson on deck and Mitch Hartigan will be in the hole. And usually at this point in the game, we'd be switching off play-by-play and color duties here in the press box. But due to that shortened game on Thursday night, I'm going to be taking a little bit of an extended stay on the play-by-play. As Man watches that one go low, bringing the count even at 1-1.
That fog that was here on Thursday was just covering the lights. You couldn't really see the light towers. I thought they probably could have kept playing, but
yeah,
I thought Gary Calhoun thought the same thing, as he was kind of arguing the decision for a little bit, but after about 10 minutes, both managers decided, yeah, you know what, we'll just kind of call it a day.
It was bad luck that they had to call the game right as we were starting to get hot. You know, we had 2 runs scored in each of the last 2 innings, and then at that point in the 6th, I think we still only had 1 away.
I believe
whenever
so.
they called the game, so we had a chance to score more runs and kind of start to make a comeback, but we just couldn't get that chance as that one ended not even through a full 6 innings. Greer battling up at the plate as he now has a 1-2 count. He's fouled off the last 2. Greer with a 125 average on the season, 4 for 32 overall. Reached base once in the last game against the Firebirds, had that walk. It's the 1-2. It's chopped over towards second. That's when we picked up by Clark. Toss over to first. Is in time. Clayton stepping on the bag in just a step in front of Greer, as that is out number 1.
Good hustle by Greer to try to beat that thing out, just 1 step too short there as they beat him on the flip. Good coverage there to get over and cover the bag.
Pretty dangerous play over there at first, as we've seen from the Harbor Hawks a couple of times this season. We've seen a couple of times where the first baseman goes to get a ball, and then there's just no one covering the bag. And so a risky play, but a good play from the Gateman. Now with 1 away, Johnson at the plate. As we mentioned, had that magnificent play out in right field where he robbed a home run back very early in the game. Johnson with 1 appearance on the night. He got hit by a pitch in the very first pitch that he faced. That ball actually nicking him in the helmet. And we just got an update that if you want to go and witness the replay of that home run robbery from Dom Johnson, you can go check out our Twitter, Hyannis Harbor Hawks Twitter. And we have a little bit of replay on that catch up there. A little bit of a Shout out to our social media team, a wonderful job that they've done this season. Definitely making sure everybody's keeping up with everything that has to do with the Harbor Hawks. Johnson facing a 2-2 count now as he steps back into the right-handed box. Clayton from the windup. Here's the 2-2. Long drive into center field. That's going to be Gonzalez ranging back. He's going to come up and make the grab for out number 2. Johnson goes down to 0 for 1 now after an F8 for out number 2 here in the 5th.
Yeah, just a little bit on the inside part of the plate. Didn't get it fully on the barrel. Results in the fly out to center, and Clayton's been very impressive so far on the hill for the Gateman. Just one hit for the Harbor Hawks tonight.
Clayton almost through 5 full innings of pitching, as this is a long drive out towards right field. That's going to be Kern settling in just in front of the warning track, and he'll make the grab for out number 3. Ending the 5th inning, the Harbor Hawks still chasing 1 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here for inning number 6 from Judy Walton Scarafile Field. Lincoln Revill, Austin DeCouta on the call. But before we get started, fans, for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's Harbor Hawks game. Count now 1-0. Hunter Furtado back on the rubber. This one ripped down the first base line, just foul, says the first base umpire, as the even count now moves to 1-1. Almost an extra base hit there for Trez Gonzalez, who's now at the plate.
Got out in front on that pitch from Furtado, and he hit it relatively hard on the ground, too, just too far out in front by maybe half a second.
Gonzalez 0 for 1. Ground out over to second in the 3rd for his first at bat. Here's the 1-1. That one misses up high. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count. Gonzalez out in center field for the Gateman in tonight's game.
Pitch number 26 upcoming here.
That's lined out into left field. That's going to be brought in by Hardigan for out number 1.
That was literally right to him. He took a half of a step, then waited, and then just retreated half a step back and leaned over and made the catch. I mean, positioned perfectly.
Doesn't get much easier than that.
It does not.
So with 1 away now, Furtado has now retired the first 7 hitters that he's faced. As Tommy Troy steps back up to the plate for the 3rd time tonight. 2 flyouts to his name, so he's 0 for 2. He's in the right-handed box. First pitch, a breaking ball, left hanging up high for ball 1.
That's what makes Furtado so effective. A fastball at 93, a breaking ball at 75. incredibly tough to time up.
This one hit over towards short, first that is, backhanded by Pujols for out number 2. Holy cow, I am all sorts of sideways here tonight. Good grief.
Good play by Pujols, though. Again, you see how tough of a hop it can take over at first base, and he just waits on that ball and does a nice job of setting himself up, staying in front of it so it can't take a hop by him, and snags it, takes it himself. And Hunter Furtado has been just dominant out of the bullpen. 8 up, 8 down.
Yeah, and like you said, a good play from Pujols. That one almost ended up giving him some trouble, but he was able to adapt to it and make the backhand and grab the out himself. No balls and 1 strike. Now they count to Jim Jarvis. Jarvis is 0 for 2. A strikeout and a flyout to his name. Strikeout in the first, a flyout back in the third. The pattern there has ended as his next at bat coming now in the 6th. Here's the 0-1. Bouncing on the plate. Good stop there from Proto behind the plate as the count moves to 1-1. 2 away now in the top of the 6th. Harborhawks again trailing 1-0. Only 3 hits combined between the two teams. As that one's fouled off.
See if he goes back with the breaking ball here. Just got him jammed on the fastball, which has been effective against these left-handed hitters. We mentioned how far Jarvis chokes up on that bat, Lincoln, which takes he's up at least about 6 inches on that bat. So if you can throw the breaking ball, he's not going to be able to reach it on that outside part of the plate. If you can get it far enough away, he's going to really have to step towards it.
Jarvis up with the pine tar as the inside breaking ball called strike 3. Jarvis goes down looking, and Furtado has retired 9 straight as we head now to the bottom of the 6th. And as we know, the Harborhawks have lost a few players to the MLB draft, and we're actually going to head on down to our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, who has a little bit to say about the players leaving for the draft.
Thanks, guys. The Cape Cod Baseball League has been the premier amateur baseball league in the nation since 1885. 1 in 6 Major League Baseball players have played in the Cape Cod Baseball League, with approximately 300 active annually and more than 1,250 all-time. Many players who have played on the Cape League this summer have already left to prepare for the draft beginning tomorrow. Best of luck to those players who joined us in the Cape League this summer, and especially those who joined us here in Hyannis.
Thank you very much, Taylor. We're going to take a little break on the Harborhawks Baseball Network. The Harborhawks trailing 1-0 against the Wareham Gateman. We'll be right back. Bottom half of the 6th coming up here at McKeon Park, Judy Walton Scarefile Field, the setting for tonight's game between the Hyannis Harborhawks and the Wareham Gateman. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta coming here for tonight's game. As a new pitcher coming in for the Gateman. Clayton's day is done as Christian Rubeck will now be on the mound. Fires that first pitch home at 93 miles an hour for strike one. This one to Ryan Romano.
Tough to hit 93 coming out of the bullpen. That's one of the most difficult parts of this league.
And as you mentioned that, this one lined over the shortstop for a base hit. Romano 2 for 2 on the night with a pair of singles.
Yeah, when I was talking to Calhoun, manager Gary Calhoun of the Harbor Hawks, he said one of the toughest things is you're facing 3 to 4 pitchers a night, and each guy with 3 different pitches, all throwing in the mid-90s, and it's so tough to make those adjustments during the game as you face all these different pitchers.
Now with the runner on first, Caden Rose back at the dish. So he hits that first pitch over towards third. Morales with the grab, throw to second for one, over to first, is in time. That's 2 for the Gateman, and just like that, the threat for the Harbor Hawks ends shortly.
Well, I like swinging early in the count. I do. Unfortunately for Caden Rose, it hasn't paid off tonight as that one was hit hard, but a great all-around play. I mean, what a play over at third by Morales, and an incredible turn by Troy, who got taken out on the slide by Romano but still made a throw, and that's just a fundamental double play by the Gateman, and suddenly there's 2 away.
Rose struggling at the plate tonight, 0 for 3. He's found base on a fielder's choice, but he has a fly out, that fielder's choice, and it just grounded into that double play as this one hit over towards short. Jarvis with the throw over to first on the run is in time. A very quick bottom of the 6th as we now head to the 7th. Harbor Hawks still trailing 1-0 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back now for the top of the 7th here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Lincoln Revill alongside my good friend Austin DeCouta ready for the last 3 innings of play. The Harbor Hawks taking on the Wareham Gateman, trailing the Gateman by a score of 1-0. Both teams now even with 2 hits apiece. Only 4 hits combined throughout this game and 1 run between those 4 hits as Hunter Furtado comes back to the mound. As he finds that zone for the count to become 0-2. Yohandi Morales at the plate. The 0-2 misses in the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. And if Furtado can get this first out, he's going to have a longer outing than Adrian Saravo did to start the game.
Saravo was good, though. I mean, that's no slight to him. Saravo went 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, 1 strikeout.
Yeah, I would have let him go at least another inning. He was doing great.
Maybe there's a pitch count thing, game plan later on. We'll see. But
yeah.
I mean, you can't question the decision now. I mean, it was for Furtado, 9 up, 9 down.
Yeah, exactly. No.
the Harbor Hawks, as a pitching staff, have now retired 13 straight between Saravo and Furtado, looking to make it 14.
The 2-2 misses a bit low. 3 balls and 2 strikes to count. Furtado in danger of allowing his first base runner of this outing. As Austin mentioned, he retired the first 9 he faced. Here's the payoff. That one's fouled off, and that's going to be out of play.
And there's no kids chasing after it. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know.
One.
It's
2 now.
2, yeah. A little 3.
Well, usually there's like 10 to 15 of them running around at all the ballparks.
Yeah. Or like we saw in where was it?
Harwich?
Was it Harwich?
Yeah,
where the kids were just standing there.
Those kids were brutal.
They were standing there waiting for a foul ball. Looking like the Hunger Games out there. The payoff once again. This one hit over towards short. That's going to be Ball with the hard throw and a dart for out number 1.
Kyle Ball continues to be an incredible shortstop defensively for the Harbor Hawks. Without an error yet, there was a gold glove. I'm sure he would win it.
And that is one of the throws where I wish that we could just know how fast that was going across the diamond. You know, they do that with showcases, especially for shortstops, where they see how fast they can throw across the diamond. And now Furtado with a 1-0 count to Owen Diodati, who's 1 for 2 on the night with a single and then that fly out back in the 4th. As Furtado, with a beautiful breaking pitch, finds the zone. 1-1 now the count. And Furtado actually has been working on and off the field to get ready. One thing that we've seen from him a lot. On days where he doesn't pitch, he actually comes in before the game, comes up to the skybox and watches film with the coaches. As this one, Romano making the grab and an easy throw over to first for the second out. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. But my mind keeps getting ahead of me there, as there's now 2 away.
Furtado just continues to force the ball to be on the ground, which is always a good sign when you have this infield. He's been keeping the fastball low in the zone. Hitters get on top of it, and especially with that breaking ball at 75, it's the hitters becoming off balance. They're just not able to time anything up on him, and the contact that's been made has just been really on the ground for the most part.
Yeah, one thing I think that's even more impressive than a pitcher with like a high number of strikeouts, one thing that I think is equally as impressive is a pitcher that can get their entire infield equally involved in the game, and just a lot of ground balls and a lot of fly balls, as you mentioned.
5 of the 11 outs Furtado has recorded have been on ground balls, so mix in 3 strikeouts with that. A recipe for success for the lefty.
Count even at 1-1. Furtado, that was a beautiful pitch. He didn't go, says the third base umpire, but I'm not sure that wasn't out of the. I'm not sure that was out of the zone.
It looked good.
It looked very good.
I guess that's why we're up here and not behind the plate.
Yeah.
I have umpired before.
Yeah, I've umpired
not at
the
level, but
Yeah, no, definitely not. I've done it at the high school level, but that's it.
I did minors. It wasn't really like the kids were like 9, so I'd show up in the
Oh, yeah.
sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Sweatshirt and shin guards for my brother's catching gear.
Yeah.
Just stand back there. Not many strikes thrown at that level.
No, definitely not. For that level, you have to really bump up the strike zone to chin to shin and line to line.
Oh, that's what it was. It was a little wider sometimes. If it got to the catcher's mitt in the air, it's a strike.
Yeah, exactly. Kellum Clark reaches after drawing a walk, and that is the first walk of the night for the pitchers and also the first runner allowed for Furtado. So his streak ends at 11 straight retired. As this next pitch to Cade Kern is lofted and lined into left field. As that's a 2-out single now for Cade Kern.
Prior to the Clark at bat, the Saravo-Furtado tandem had retired 15 straight as a duo. But unfortunately, the walk and now a single, so they're starting to time up that fastball. It's going to prompt a mound visit now, which is not a bad thing. I mean, you see a couple guys reach in a row. You want to go out there, settle down your pitcher a bit. I mean, Furtado's been brilliant out of the bullpen, but there is action now in the Harbor Hawk bullpen. We'll see what develops from that.
I want to say that's not Derek Cherry, is it?
That looks to be number 8, Derek Cherry.
Yeah, I thought Cherry left already, didn't he?
You would be right because he's not on our roster. Or on the stat sheet, at least. Noah Hall, they've given number 8, it seems.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Noah Hall, our brand new pitcher, getting his debut, about to at least, here in just a bit. He'll probably come in the next inning in the 8th and maybe finish it out.
Yeah, so Derek Cherry, one of the players that have left the team, prepare for the draft or work on their skills elsewhere. And now Noah Hall has taken jersey number 8, it appears. At least from here, that's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Derek Cherry, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the back 9 bullies, was he not?
Oh, no, that was Nolan Crisp and
Nolan
Trey
Crisp,
Braithwaite.
that's who it was. Crisp, yeah.
Crisp is still here.
The other food-related last name, Crisp and Cherry.
That's how you remember him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, now we have what they've called themselves the front nine freaks.
Yeah,
Furtado here on the mound and Cooper McKeon. The bullpen is just full of personalities this year in Hyannis.
It is, yes. You love to see it, honestly. People just full of personality and can really bring a spark to the bullpen and to the dugout as well. 2 balls and no strikes. Furtado comes set with a look over at second. That's Clark over at second base as this one is fouled off. Count now goes to 2-1 with 2 away.
And what Furtado does a good job of is holding the runners. They not able to get a big lead off of him. The tall, lengthy lefty. And what's important here to remember is there are 2 outs in the inning, so you don't have to really worry too much about there being first and second. It's not like there's no outs or 1 out, but with 2 away, you can still pitch to contact and get an out at 3 bases.
The 2-1 fouled off once again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Now the count.
And how about the game that Ryan Proto has called behind home plate tonight? His first start of the season at catcher, and he's done a phenomenal job. I mean, quick outs, getting some strikeouts, and inducing weak contacts. And some credit has to go to your catcher. He's just been terrific behind the plate tonight.
Yeah, Proto, as I mentioned before early in the game, his first start of the season for the Harbor Hawks. We've seen him in action a couple of times, but this is the first time he's gone more than 3 innings in an outing. The 2-2 misses a little low. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now the count.
So that's going to put runners in motion here on the pitch. 3-2, 2 away. Proto lets his infielders know they're going to be off on the pitch, so a ball in the gap could be dangerous here.
Wareham already with a 1-0 lead. Runners go. This one chopped and fouled as that goes off the foot of Crooks in the batter's box. And as we know, if Crooks had started off running to first and then that ball would have hit him, he would have been out, and that would have ended the inning. But instead, we're going to redo that payoff pitch coming up. Furtado, as Austin mentioned, a tall, lanky pitcher, 6'4", 190 pounds. The Wake Forest Demon Deacon. So he likes what he sees from Proto. The encore, a long drive out towards right field, and that is gone. A 3-run shot for Jimmy Crooks, and the Gatemen have blown this one open, leading 4-0 in the top of the 7th.
Just such a tough thing to see here if you're a Harbor Hawks fan. 1 strike away from getting out of this thing and firing 4 scoreless for David Furtado, but unfortunately, Jimmy Crooks just timed up that pitch and did not miss it, and that's just so tough. I mean, 1 more strike and you're out of this inning with a one-run deficit still. And now Crooks is having a day, Lincoln, 2 for 3 with all 4 RBI.
Crooks just showing how heavy a bat he's having as
the count on the scoreboard, 3-3.
Crooks came into tonight's game with a 300 average. That's gone up a lot as this one slowly, weakly hit towards second base. The throw from Romano to Pujols on the run gets past Pujols.
That's all right. It's going to be a hit, I think. It will be ruled a hit. And that's just a tough play for Romano. He probably was already at the bag by the time the ball came out in Romano's hand, so he was just trying to rush that to first, so
Yeah,
no sweat.
I was about to say the same thing. I think he would have been safe at first no matter if Romano got the throw there or not. So now with 2 away, Trey Gonzalez is going to step back up to the plate. He's 0 for 2. The ground out and a fly out. A strikeout away from what I call the hat trick. He's in center field for the Gateman here tonight. First pitch from Furtado, spiked in the dirt, but he can't hold his bat back. That is strike 1.
Great curveball from Furtado, especially tough on left-handed hitters as we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of times where he spiked that breaking ball in the dirt, but that's one of the. It's hard to get these hitters to go after those pitches, but that's one of the times where it worked. Here's the 1-0. A chopper over towards first. Pujols is going to pick that one up, call Furtado off, and step on the bag himself for out number 3. That's going to end the top of the 7th, but not before the Gatemen take a now commanding 4-0 lead heading into the bottom half of the 7th. The 7th inning stretch coming up on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Take Me Out to the Ball Game and the Chicken Dance have both concluded here from McKeon Park as we are ready for the bottom of the 7th. Marcos Pujols starting us off here as he digs back into the left-handed box. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of Ks. As the first pitch from Rubeck misses for ball 1. 1-0 the count now to the first baseman. Pujols was close to having his 3rd home run of the season as he had that long foul ball back in the bottom of the 1st that we both thought, both Austin and I thought was a home run from here in the press box, but the first base umpire elected to call it foul.
Everybody on the field, I think, thought it was a home run, too. Yeah, everybody on the field, I think, thought it was a home run, too. Nobody really, thought otherwise. I mean, the Gateman just watched it go, and they were watching Pujols round first by the time it was called foul.
As the 1-2 comes across, Pujols goes down swinging for the 3rd time tonight. As with 1 away, that's going to bring Luke Mann up once again. Mann 0 for 2 on the night.
Here comes the shift again.
And the shift, as Austin called, that's Jarvis over almost on top of second base. Troy now in between first and second. And Clark down the first base line as this one heads into foul territory.
Ooh.
Almost brought on by Morales, but he ends up overrunning it just a hair.
Good effort.
Colliding with the wall a little bit. Of course, I'm sure at that point your mind isn't exactly on the ball. I'm sure it's more on colliding with that fence out there down the third base line.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you're trying to get a feel for where the wall is and also not run into the bullpen catcher or the pitcher that we're both standing out there. So definitely a tough play to make.
And the 0-1, swing and miss from Mann. A beautiful breaking ball at 79 miles an hour there from Rubeck. Brings the count to 0-2 now with one away. As we mentioned, Jarvis, Troy, and Clark all on the right side of the infield. Meanwhile, Morales in his usual spot at third base. Here's the 0-2. That's up and away. 1-2 now the count. Some might even say that was up and away. What is that? Would you say that's Superman? Is that the Superman saying, or is that like something else?
I don't know. I forget. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember.
The 1-2, swing and a miss. Man goes down swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts for Christian Rubeck. As with 2 away, Ryan Proto is going to come up to the plate.
Tough pitch to hit. Luke Mann. Really, I mean, that's just something that I wouldn't fault Mann for that. That was just a beautiful pitch.
It was.
I mean, not much you can do with it. It was in the zone, just at the bottom of it as it moved across the plate. Really, I mean, that's just a great pitch.
Yeah, Rubeck with a magnificent breaking ball. As this throw comes in, that's lofted out towards right field. Kern ranging over to his left, nearing the foul line, and he'll make the grab for out number 3. A very quick bottom of the 7th as we now head to the 8th. The last 2 innings coming up on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Top of the 8th coming up. Judy Walden Scarifile Field, the site for tonight's game, as we have another new pitcher making his Harbor Hawks debut. Noah Hall coming to us from Appalachian State, as he is now getting ready to go here.
Now, I believe he was transferring somewhere. I'll have to double check.
Ooh, you're right, he is. I don't think he's announced where he's going. I know he's leaving App State, though.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned for that one. Meanwhile, while Austin is looking for that, want to give a little talk about our post-game show coming up. That's Hawk Talk, coming up after the conclusion of tonight's game. Be sure to check that video out on YouTube, where myself along with Austin will be hosting that tonight, but we'll be talking about everything that happened in tonight's game, previewing tomorrow's game as well. Also against the Gatemen, this time in Wareham. We'll be broadcasting from the infamous cage in Wareham tomorrow night.
Yes, over in Wareham. Always a fun one over there.
It is.
I don't mind the cage. I like it. It's actually
Yeah,
nice little view, you know.
honestly the best view that we've had besides this view here from the skybox. But a magnificent view, really.
All right, and we do have it official. Noah Hall transferring from App State to South Carolina.
Ah.
So he'll be a Gamecock.
A lot of South Carolina people here in the Cape that we've seen this season.
David Lloyd, I believe, or Daniel Lloyd, rather, on the Harbor Hawks. He was one of the relievers earlier in the year.
The first pitch from Hall. Finds his own for strike one. This one to Tommy Troy. Counter goes to 0-1. So Hall, now formerly of App State, now at South Carolina. I would say, well, yeah, I will say, as we know, App State, although y'all might not know, but App State, the team that absolutely crushed the University of North Texas, my Mean Green, in a bowl game earlier this football season.
What was the score?
Ooh, I don't even remember. 50-something to 20-something, I think.
You get him next year.
Yeah, I don't. All I know is that the game was at Coastal Carolina with that nice little teal field that they have. Yeah.
The infamous Coastal Carolina colors.
The Chanticleer is also an interesting mascot there. The 1-2 from Hall, hit down towards third.
Ooh.
First, that's going to get past the glove of Pujols as that takes that bad hop that we've been talking about all game long, and that is an opening single for Tommy Troy.
A tough hop there for Pujols, but it did kind of go by him, so it will be ruled an error.
I don't really know about that one, honestly. I mean, you know, if it was more routine, then yes, I'd call that an error. But with the bad hop, it didn't touch his glove. It took a really bad hop. I would call that a hit, in my opinion.
I'm down the middle on that one, but if he stayed in front of that ball, it probably would be able to knock it down and play it. I think he played it off to the side, unfortunately.
That is true. I will say if he did play it off like straight in front of him, that hop would have taken him in the face.
Yeah.
If he wouldn't have gotten his glove up in time, that would have resulted in probably a black eye.
You do what you can to keep the ball in front of you.
That's true. That's true. Give up your body.
Nevertheless, it's, Pujols has been solid at first all games.
Yeah,
so
he has.
An error will happen occasionally.
It's the first error of the game. So the Gateman, 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The Hawks, no runs on 2 hits and 1 error. As that throw from Hall gets past Pujols. Meanwhile, Troy rounding second, heading for third. The throw into third will not be in time. Troy gets 2 extra bases as he's now in scoring position with an 0-1 count with nobody out to Jarvis.
Not the ideal start to Noah Hall's Cape Cod debut. Some bad luck here.
Of course, everybody gets some jitters in their very first outing in any season, really.
Yeah, one bad hop, at first, and then the pickoff move there just a little low. See if he can rebound. The infield's going to come in, try to prevent this lead from growing at all if there's a ball on the ground.
Everybody on the border of the grass. Actually, Luke Mann about 2 steps behind the grass. Meanwhile, that's Kyle Ball out at short. He's actually in the grass. His foot on the edge of the border. Count evens at 1-1 now to Jarvis. Jarvis out in the left-handed box. Pitch from Hall comes in. That finds the outside of the zone. 1-2 the count.
Good pitch by Hall. He's got good command of his pitches so far. Seeing a good breaking ball, and the fastball has been located wherever Ryan Proto wants it to be.
Jarvis originally from San Diego, California, standing at 5'10", 180 pounds. He made the long trip over to the University of Alabama.
And you'll see Jarvis with his trademark choking up on the bat here with 2 strikes. Hasn't worked for him yet in this ball game, but we'll see. Got another chance at it here.
Yeah, Jarvis getting a handful of pine tar as that bat his hand's almost up at the barrel with 2 strikes.
Joey Votto's a guy who does that a lot at the major league level. He chokes up probably both the same with 2 strikes, and it worked for Votto for a long time.
Umpire puts the ball in play. Hall comes set, the right-hander. Brings it home. Drop third strike. That's going to be Proto making the throw over to first. The low throw, but that is doable for Pujols as he picks the ball up. And that is out number 1. Jarvis now down to 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Good job by Proto to keep it in front of him and make the cleanup throw to first to Pujols. And Hall can breathe a bit, gets his first strikeout here in the Cape Cod League, first recorded out. So the infield will remain in with one away, trying to keep that runner at third base.
Gateman already leading 4-0 here in the top of the 8th after that 3-run home run from Jimmy Crooks. And Crooks really the player of the game, especially for the Gateman. 2 for 3 with a single and a home run. He has all 4 RBIs for the Gateman this game. So with the 4 RBIs, Crooks now up to 6 RBIs on the season. The count with 1-0, that's lofted straight up in the air. As Romano is going to come up with that one and make the grab for out number 2. Greer swing and a miss as we are underway here, bottom of the 8th. Greer at 0 for 2, now facing an 0-1 count. As that is Rubeck still on the mound in relief of Clayton. The Gatemen have only used 2 pitchers so far tonight, as there's some action. I think there's someone stretching out there in the Gateman bullpen. There are a couple of people moving around, staying warm out there at least, as there's some action in the Harbor Hawk bullpen. Somebody to come in, finish out this game in the 9th, as the count now moves to 1. And we're back. Sorry for those technical difficulties. Just a couple of issues with the stream over the past few minutes, but we are back for the time being, as we are back for the bottom half of the 8th inning. A long conference going on between the two, as Dominic Johnson has just been called out.
I don't know how you can call interference on a player running to first base in the baseline.
Yeah, no, definitely not. There's no interference call with that.
He's running to first base, and you're going to call interference on that.
The fielder impedes on his baseline.
I mean, this first base umpire is having himself a day down.
He is.
And I mean, Gary Calhoun just went over to talk to him, and he didn't look happy about it.
I wouldn't be either. That's insane. I'm sorry to say it. It's an insane call. Yikes, dude.
So now we have 2 away in the inning.
Somehow, in some crazy form or fashion, we have 2 away. I don't think things could get any weirder for this game, honestly.
2 down in the inning.
So now with 2 away, Mitch Hardigan is going to step up to the plate. There should be a runner on second, but instead Johnson has been called out. Meanwhile, Hardigan now facing a 1-0 count with 2 away. The pitch from Rubeck misses for ball 2.
So what happened, we had a tapper out in front of home. The throw went down to first. And as Johnson turned for second, him and the first baseman, I believe it was, collided a little bit. He went over to second. The ball went to the dugout, and they ruled it would look to be interference on Johnson, or I don't know if they called him out of the base path or interference exactly, but they called him out. So he is now back at the dugout.
Yeah, we were saying, like, that throw coming to the first baseman was a terrible throw. And Clark turned to go get the foul. Clark turned to go get the pass ball, and as he turned, collided with Johnson. And so, like we were saying, no idea how that's interference, but somehow it is. The weirdest interference call I've ever seen.
Well, 2 outs now for Hardigan, looking to put a ball in play here at least.
Payoff pitch on the way from Rubeck. That misses inside, ball 4. As with 2 away, Hardigan now officially the first runner on base for the Harborhawks this inning. And that's going to bring Ryan Romano up with 2 away and a runner on first.
Romano's hit the ball well in this ball game so far. Got a pair of singles. See what he can do here now. Looking good early on. He's hits the ball well to right field too. So that right side, there is a big hole between first and second.
Romano at 2 for 2 as he swings at that high fastball. Can't connect. A big hack though, but came up with nothing. His count moves to 0-1. Take a look at tomorrow. The Harborhawks are traveling, where we'll have a rematch with the Gateman. As that's a long drive back towards center field. Gonzalez ranging back towards the wall, and that gets by his glove. That's going to be extra bases, as that's going to be Hardigan rounding third, heading for home. And Romano going to pull up at third base. Could have gone for the inside the park home run. That would have been magnificent, but the Harborhawks find the board on that triple from Ryan Romano, and my, oh my, he is having himself a game tonight.
Yeah, Lincoln, he's swinging the bat really well tonight, making solid contact in all 3 at-bats, and now the Harborhawks get 1 back, 2 away, maybe a little 2-out magic here, getting another run across.
Romano representing all 3 of the Harborhawks hits, as he's 3 for 3 on the night. And that's going to bring Caden Rose to the plate. A chance for the Harborhawks to cut this cut this deficit, that is, in half. That first pitch to Rose misses a little bit low, ball 1. And as for that game tomorrow night, again, a rematch with the Gateman. That'll be at Wareham, so just a little announcement. That's going to be an audio-only broadcast. On the away games, we are legally not allowed to film any part of the live game, and so that will be an audio-only broadcast. The 1-1 misses outside in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count. Rose having some trouble at the plate. 0 for 3 on the night. He reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd, had a fly out in the 1st, and he hit into a double play back in the 6th. On the 2-1, breaking ball, 80 miles an hour, falling on the inside. Back here, last frame coming up from Judy Walton Scarafile Field. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta for the conclusion of tonight's game. The Harborhawks taking on the Wareham Gateman. The Gateman currently leading 4-1. Sorry for those technical difficulties once again. You didn't miss much, as the only out after Romano's triple. Caden Rose ended up flying out to center field on what looked like to be a deep hit, but Gonzalez was able to come under it and make the grab for out number 3. And so we're just about ready to go here for the top of the 9th, as Kellum Clark is going to step up to the plate, followed by Cade Kern and Jimmy Crooks. And before we actually start, we're going to take a little bit of time to talk about our podcast, Birds the Word, as new episodes will come out every week. We're actually going to film this week's episode tomorrow before the game against the Gatemen tomorrow. So that should be coming out within the next couple of days.
You can find that on all your favorite podcasting apps or platforms.
It's a very interesting podcast. We talk about, we introduce new people sometimes. We've discussed the week that we had, the week coming up, and then we also have a player of the week that we all choose. Explain why we think they're the player of the week. It's a very insightful podcast for those of you that love listening to those sports podcasts, as the 1-1 check swing called safe from the third base umpire, says he did not go. That's going to bring the count now to 2 balls and 1 strike. As that one from Proto, or from Scalaro, that is, as Jonas Scalaro back on the mound for his first inning of work in tonight's game, this last 9th inning.
His cousin Ryan Romano over at second base.
Proto back behind the plate to finish out tonight's game as he grabs that one on the outside corner. 3-2 the count.
Well, that was an interesting strike.
Very interesting, yes. Yeah. Clark was sure that was ball 4.
So was Proto.
Do apologize there. More technical difficulties. They're having a hard time with the stream here tonight.
Yeah, we're doing the best with what we got, so we appreciate everybody sticking with us through this.
That being said, 1 out, runner on first now. That's Kellum Clark over at first. Cade Kern just went down with a putout. And that's going to bring Jimmy Crooks to the plate as he now has a 1-0 count for his 4th appearance of the night. Crooks, the man of the hour, 2 for 3 on the night, a single and a home run, as that's a deep fly ball out towards center field. Rose ranging back to the warning track, and he makes that grab for out number 2. It's going to cause Clark to retreat back to first base as they're now 2 away in the top of the 9th.
Well, the Harbor Hawks are going to be happy that, 2 away in this inning, unless they get 9 more guys to the plate. They won't have to see Jimmy Crooks again tonight because he has swung the bat incredibly well. All 4 RBIs for the Gateman. All 4 runs driven in by Jimmy Crooks. The 3-run homer, like you mentioned, Lincoln, the RBI single, and he is swinging the bat well. Shows why he's near the top of the team in batting average for the Gateman.
Now, during our time out with the stream struggle, we had Clark reach base on a walk. Since then, Cade Kern went down swinging for out number 1, and then Jimmy Crooks with that fly out as we just witnessed. Scalaro with an 0-1 count now to Anthony Frechette as the count comes in. And that one misses down low, evening the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. And when we come back for the bottom half of the 9th, the Harbor Hawks are going to have their last chance to make a comeback here against the Gatemen, currently down 4-1 in tonight's game. That 1-1 pitch fouled off, bringing the count now to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Scalaro from Florida State University coming into tonight's game with a 1.5 ERA. Has made 5 appearances, thrown 6 innings in those 5 appearances, and has 1 run on 1 hit, walked 3, and has struck out 5. Looking for strikeout number 7, actually, as he's struck out 6 with Korn as that first out. Hunched for the continuation of the top of the 9th inning. We're currently with a 3-0 count with 2 away to Trey Gonzalez. Gonzalez 0 for 3 on the night with 2 groundouts and a fly out. Once again, I apologize for the technical difficulties that we've had. We're trying to do the best we can with those technical difficulties, trying to keep this stream up for y'all as much as we can. Thank you all very much for bearing with us. We're trying to resolve the problem as I speak, and hopefully we will have that figured out at least for tomorrow's game against the Gateman. So now Gonzalez reaches on a walk. That's going to load the bases up.
If you're Scalero, you're just looking to get out of this inning, even if it's a weak contact, to force at any base here.
Now, if you're just during that little hiatus that we had for that stream trouble, Anthony Frechette actually singled out to center field, and Rose, who made an absolute bullet of a throw down to third, made it in time for Clark, and Luke Mann actually put the tag on him, but somehow Clark was called safe at third. A very arguable call. And then since then, Gonzalez has reached on a 4-pitch walk to load the bases with 2 away. And like you said, Austin, Scalaro just looking for a way to get out of this inning without the Gateman scoring another run.
Give the Harbor Hawks a chance to put something together in the bottom of the 9th. I've seen teams, we've seen the Harbor Hawks themselves score 4 runs in an inning. You come back here in the bottom of the 9th, try to put something together off the closer for the Gateman, who's warming up in their bullpen.
And the Harbor Hawks not unfamiliar with last inning rallies. We've seen a couple of games where they've scored a couple runs in that 9th inning as this breaking ball is hit over back up the middle. Scalaro going to make the throw himself to first for out number 3. That's going to end the top of the 9th, the last half of the game coming up on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Kyle Ball set to start us off here in the bottom of the 9th. Marcos Pujols behind him, and Luke Mann will be in the hole for this bottom of the 9th inning. Kyle Ball starting us off 0 for 3 with 2 groundouts and a fly out to his name. A new pitcher on the mound for the Gateman, That is Hunter Skillperort. We've seen him before.
Looking to lock down his first save of the year here.
The very first pitch to Kyle Ball, spiked in the dirt and off the glove of Frechette. That brings the count now to 1-0. And that's going to prompt a fast mound visit from Frechette. Getting Skillperort.
Yeah, give the umpire a second to regroup.
Yeah.
I think it caught him on the arm.
Skillperort ready to go. The left-hander from the stretch straight out of the gate. Here's the 1-0. That one finds the outside of the zone. 1-1 now the count. Hunter Skillperort from University of Pacific has 4 appearances under his belt. Has allowed 4 hits and 1 run. He's also walked 1 and struck out 7. Some pretty good numbers there from him so far this season. Count moves now to 1-2. Ball looking for his first hit of the night. Looking for a late rally here in the 9th. As the foul tip is caught by Frechette. That is out number 1. Strikeout number 1. As Kyle Ball goes down swinging. Unofficially swinging, sort of a check swing. He didn't bring the bat around, but that did tip the bat.
Yeah, strikeout swinging.
Yeah.
Pujols is the guy who's gone down 3 times tonight on strikes, but I think is owed a solo home run.
Definitely owed a solo home run. Everybody but the umpire thought it was a home run, and I'm sure, like you said, Austin, you couldn't see the ball as it went over the foul pole, or as it went over the fence. I'm kind of starting to wonder if maybe the first base umpire didn't see the ball either.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, I would have kind of, read the room and,
and
saw that.
You got to give him the benefit of the doubt at that point.
And saw that nobody else was complaining. So.
Yeah. This one's lined out into left field, and that is going to be off the glove of Diodati. As Pujols turning on the wheels, he's rounding second. He's going to stop at second base as that throw comes in. A 1-out double for Marcos Pujols, and we're going to see if they end up ruling that one as an error or not. And that's going to go down as a hit, so a double for Pujols.
There you go. Good piece of hitting by Pujols. And it's a hit to left center field, so.
Pujols avoids the golden sombrero as he finds base for the first time tonight, and Luke Mann is now going to step up to the plate. Back here for the bottom half of the 9th. Once again, sincere apologies for the technical difficulties that we've had with the broadcast here tonight. We're going to try to get those resolved before our game tomorrow night against the Wareham Gateman, this time in Wareham. But if you're just now joining us, the Harborhawks have now cut the deficit in half, now trailing 4-2 with a runner on first and 2 away. As Luke Mann, whenever we went down, Luke Mann was at the plate. He ended up grounding out over to first, and then Ryan Proto ended up with a single.
RBI single. As he brought home Ricciardi, who pinch ran for Pujols. So a good piece of hitting by Proto. Gets his first RBI of the Cape League.
The 1-0 coming in from Skillperort. Finds the zone, evening the count at 1-1.
Tying run at the plate here would be a heck of a time for Mason Greer to put one in play. He's got to, he doesn't have to do it himself either. Just pass it to the next guy. Dom Johnson is swinging the bat well.
Yeah.
See what he can do, work the count a bit here.
We have seen some power from Greer in the past, so we know he has it in him. As the 1-1 breaking ball, a beautiful pitch, and he can't connect with it. 1-2 the count with 2 away. Greer into the left-handed box. Here's Skillperort. He's out of the stretch, runner on first. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Greer goes down. That ends tonight's game. The Wareham Gatemen take the game by a score of 4-2. As, again, another late rally from the Harbor Hawks.